You wake up on a rusted metal cot. Your neck hurts. Your mouth tastes like dust and old rain. Somewhere above you, wind is pushing through a broken window and it sounds like breathing. You sit up. The room around you is peeling. Wallpaper hangs off the walls in long yellow strips, curling like old paper skin. A child's doll lies face down on the floor, one eye missing. You don't remember lying down here. You don't remember this room at all. Where are you? You stand. Your legs feel unsteady, like they belong to someone who hasn't used them in years. You walk toward the window and look out, and your stomach drops. Nature has swallowed the world outside. Trees push up through cracked concrete. Vines climb the sides of an apartment building across the street, wrapping around balconies like slow green fingers. There are no cars moving, no people walking, no sound of a single voice, just wind, and somewhere far off, a metal door creaking open and shut, like a heartbeat. This is Pripyat, and you already know somehow in the pit of your stomach that something happened here, something that emptied an entire city in a single night and never let it fill back up again. You just don't know what yet. You step outside. The morning air is cold and strangely clean, almost too clean, like the world has been rinsed and left to dry. A rusted Ferris wheel stands frozen at the edge of a small amusement park, its yellow cars swaying slightly in the wind. It was never used, not even once. You can feel that truth without being told it. Some places don't need dust to prove they're abandoned. They need silence. You walk closer. A small clicking device sits abandoned on a bench beside the Ferris wheel, its needle twitching even now. You don't recognize it, but your hand hovers over it anyway, like your body remembers something your mind has forgotten. What is this place trying to tell you? You keep walking. Every building you pass tells the same story. Classrooms with gas masks scattered across the floors like they were dropped mid-lesson. A kitchen table set for dinner that was never eaten. A calendar on a wall, frozen on a date in April, the numbers faded but still legible. Nobody came back to turn the page. You've heard stories somewhere in the back of your mind about a night in 1986 when a reactor at a nearby power plant overheated and exploded, releasing invisible poison into the sky. You didn't live it. But your body seems to know it the way a scar knows a wound, even after the skin has healed over. Researchers like Kate Brown, a historian who spent years studying the aftermath here, later described how officials underestimated the danger for days, how families packed a single suitcase believing they'd return home within 72 hours. They never did. You are standing in the exact silence they left behind. You walk through what used to be a schoolyard. A slide, rusted orange, curls up like a claw. Nearby, a swing set sways on its own, its chains groaning in a rhythm that doesn't quite match the wind. You stop walking. Did that swing just move on its own, or did something move it? You tell yourself it's the wind. You tell yourself that twice before you believe it. As you move deeper into the city, you begin noticing something strange about yourself. Your hands, your reflection in a cracked shop window, none of it looks quite right. You are dressed like someone from another time. A heavy grey coat, boots too big for your feet, a small badge pinned to your collar with a number instead of a name. You are not simply visiting this place. You are someone who lived here, someone who was told to leave and never truly did. A cat brushes against your leg. It is thin, but alive, with strange pale patches along its fur. Wildlife has returned to this exclusion zone in numbers scientists still study today. Wolves, lynxes, and wild boar now roam freely through streets once filled with school children and grocery lines. Nature did not wait for permission, it simply moved back in. You crouch down and the cat lets you pet it. For a moment, in the middle of all this ruin, you feel something unexpected. peace. The kind of peace that only exists in places humans have stopped trying to control. But peace here is fragile. You hear a distant sound, metal against metal, coming from inside a nearby building. You freeze. Is someone else here? Or is it just the wind pretending to be footsteps again? You move toward the sound anyway because curiosity is stronger than fear, even now. Inside, you find an old radio, still somehow connected to a battery pack, hissing static into the empty hallway. For a second, a voice breaks through, faint and distorted, speaking a language you almost understand. Then it's gone. Was that real? Or did your mind just fill the silence with something it needed to hear? You leave the building shaken, but something has shifted inside you. You are no longer just wandering. You are remembering. Flashes come to you now, uninvited, running through these same streets. Sirens. A woman's hand gripping yours too tightly. A suitcase left behind on purpose, because it held nothing worth carrying into whatever came next. You reach the edge of the city, where the road disintegrates into forest. A single road sign, rusted and bent, still points toward a town that no longer functions as a town. You realize now that leaving isn't really the goal here. Understanding is. You sit down on the broken curb and let the silence settle over you completely. Without fighting it, the wind moves through the trees, the Ferris wheel groans somewhere behind you, and for the first time since you woke up, you're not afraid of the silence. You're grateful for it. Because silence here is a kind of memorial. It is what remains when everything urgent has already happened, and only the aftermath is left to be witnessed. You think about how quickly a life can be interrupted. One ordinary evening. One decision made too slowly, and an entire city full of kitchens and classrooms and swing sets becomes a museum no one asked to build. You look down at your hands again, and for a moment they don't feel like a stranger's hands anymore. They feel like yours, like you've always belonged to this quiet, overgrown place, even if only for these final few hours of understanding it. You stand up one last time and look back at Pripyat, at its slow green reclamation, its frozen Ferris wheel, its patient, watching silence. You realize that you didn't wake up here by accident. You woke up here to see what happens after the world moves on without asking anyone's permission. Somewhere behind you, the swing set creaks one final time, and you finally understand. It was never haunted. It was only ever waiting.